My name is Feruza Winiche Salisu.
And my name is Mariam Kalim Ahmed. So Y.E.S stands from it used to be just Youth Exchange and Study Program, but it's now referred to as the Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program. It was established in 2002 by the U.S. government and the U.S. citizen. The main goal was to counter terrorism. And how did they plan on doing that? Allowing countries with larger population of Muslims to basically travel to the U.S., usually high school kids between the ages of 15 to 17 years. And when they come to the U.S., they are allowed to stay with American families so that they will better understand how Americans are. At the same time, it was an opportunity for us to also learn about volunteerism, community activism, and citizen engagement. And they would
Okay, so not only for Ghanaians to learn the American culture, but also for the Ghanaian students to teach the Americans their culture so that, you know, they can also see what our culture is about.
For me, I felt like the experience, my perception of what America was large urban cities. But I learned that there's an America that in our terms we would consider it a village where there are small towns and the people are just average people just like us, who live average lives, go to work, come home. And also there were Muslims, so we might think they are not Muslims in America. Back then, I went in 2007. But when we got there, realized that there is a Muslim population there who are also Americans and have quite similar cultural belief as we do.
Okay, for me it was life-changing, and I went in 2009. The experience, like the cultural shocks were so many, but then I realized that the differences are not that much, you know.
It's not a requirement. However, they're hoping that they have impacted you in the way that you take these skills that you've learned and use these skills in your community. One of them is to take away the stereotypes of what we think America is. Another two is to promote volunteerism in Ghana or other countries that went. So they want us to have that same patriotism. Most of us always think about traveling outside. We never think of what we can do for our communities. So they expect us that after the program, we learn to appreciate our country and have a sense of patriotism.
Well, it's quite difficult in Ghana because from my experiences, the time I was schooling in the U.S. during my exchange year, you'd realize that it was actually a requirement. Like you need to do some volunteer hours before you can even graduate from high school. But it's not the same here, and most people tend to develop the spirit of volunteerism in Ghana at a very later, age. And but I should say that ever since we came back and we started doing volunteer activities here and there, we try as much as possible to involve our communities, and we've realized that some of our colleagues who are also passionate about giving back to their various communities have started coming up to support and also run projects that are purely voluntary. Some of the major ones was the Yes for Peace. That was in 2012 during we had a nationwide campaign towards the 2012 elections, and I think we ran the same project in 2016 as well. And we do have we also had this ICT project in some basic schools. Like there are some basic schools that do not have access to computers and all that. We used to take our own laptops and our projectors. We let them have first-hand experience on how to actually use the computer. And I mean, we've run a lot of exercises, talk about donations, clean up exercises, and yeah. And right now we are working on the health project, which will come off on the 6th of July this year, and that is why we actually here, like to talk to you about this upcoming project.
So the health project, this is our first time of running a health project, and this time around we focused on health screening and blood donation. So we are in going to the Nima Mamobi community, and on Saturday on July 6, 2019, around 6 a.m. we begin with a health walk. We want to promote healthy living, why it's important for you to exercise. After that, we're going to gather around the Malamado Mosque
at 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And during that time, we're going to have a free health screening, which will be sponsored by Rabito Clinic.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're also going to have a blood donation. Ghana is part of the sub-Saharan region where we have people die because there's a shortage of blood. Mm-hmm. So there's always a constant need of blood donation. So we partnered with the National Blood Service to help us with that. We also targeted the community and found a youth leader in the community. So we are working with Eid al-Fitr family.
Yeah.
And
Fanfare
family. And then Eid al-Fitr family is basically helping us to mobilize the community, helping us to understand the Nima Mamobi community as well and what they really need.
And how to get them to participate in this exercise.
And there'll be a free breast exam. There'll also be a free eye exams. We're going to be testing for HIV, syphilis, hepatitis. We're also going to be checking blood pressure. Mm-hmm. We're also going to be checking blood sugar as well.
The general public is invited. We've shared our flyers all over social media, and we've invited people all around to participate in this exercise. We actually had a lot of people reaching out to us, offering to volunteer. So we have some nurses who are offering to volunteer. We have community members who are offering to volunteer as well. And I think Eid al-Fitr too has a number of volunteers who will be taking part in the exercise.
I'll say volunteerism is a way, it's a step up. It's when you give back without expecting anything back. And you can make major changes with talents that you already have. And you might think that, oh, this talent is unnecessary. But you could teach someone something. That's volunteerism. When you're helping in the church, that's volunteerism. When you're helping in the mosque, that's volunteerism. When you pick a child out of the community and you mentor that child, that's volunteerism. Yeah. Volunteerism is not defined by any specific words. It's what you give back to the community. And when you do it, give your all to it. Because we can change Ghana through volunteerism.
Yeah, I agree with what Mariam said. And also, there's just this fulfillment that comes with volunteering and giving back to society. So for me, I would encourage everyone out there to do any little thing, no matter how little it is. I think that you should just get up and take the initiative to do something for your communities. And I think in general, it's going to help our country.
Also, the date is July 6th, 2019.
Yes, and our sponsors are New Pinpoint Communications. We have UPS Sportswear, Rabito Clinic, of course, and we are also partnering with Eid al-Fitr Family Fanfare. Yeah.